Hello fellow entrepreneurs, it's me Eliza back with another video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more startup and how to create a business content. So I understand that this is a little bit rich for me to be talking about this subject given that I have yet to launch my product. Stay tuned for more. But I want to talk about the concept of the MVP, which stands for the minimum viable product. Sorry that I changed my position, the lighting's a little bit better this way. As with any good concept, I think, the MVP started out with good intentions to point out a really good thing, and then it became massively popular and it got misconstrued and confused over time, such that it's become difficult to really understand what it is and what it's meant for. And so I am here to talk about some of the misconceptions and how you should think about your MVP going forward. So, obviously, in the 3 words of minimum viable product, a product kind of speaks for itself. And so the first thing we need to focus on is minimal. Now, I think that there's a couple of reasons why this can get confused for a couple of other things. One is that sometimes minimum people take to mean lowest quality, which I think is the wrong way to go about things. You shouldn't be doing every single feature that you can think of. You should be focusing on a couple of features, but those features should be pristine. They should be really well thought out, really well done, so that you are putting your best foot forward. You know, it only takes a couple of negative or even middling reviews before your product could fall by the wayside when you are starting out. So you need to create a product that people love. So then how do you know that what you are doing is minimum enough, too much or too little? The way that I like to think about it is to think about it as delivering value points for the user. It's sometimes called like a benefit to the user. And what do you have to build to get across that value point? I would definitely say do no more than 3 value points. And then I would even say just stick to 1. The reason why I say a value point and not a feature is because it needs to be focused on what the user is getting out of your product, not what you are building. And they don't always match one-to-one. Sometimes in order to fully deliver on a value point so that the user has come out better than they did before they had your product, you might need to have several features in there in order to create that value that you are delivering to that customer. So it really should be about what do you need to build in order to fully realize that story of the customer realizing that full benefit. So the next word is viable. And what does viable mean? Well, again, this is about creating a quality product. This means that it needs to deliver on business objectives. So obviously revenue is best. If you can find a quick way to deliver value to your customers such that they start paying you, that is the ideal. That is the most viable, because now you are a business that is making money, which is the goal of a business. If you cannot do that, then the next step would be a wide customer base and very intense customer engagement. Basically, you have an audience that adores your product, that keeps coming back again and again. That is also viable, because then you can use that to launch your business model and make revenue in the future. If you really can't do either of those, maybe rethink your business, but you could also somehow get data or provide a customer base for some partner that you'd like to work with in the future. That could be another way that you become viable, in the sense that you could create revenue by partnering with someone else or getting acquired by someone else. On a related note, you want to make sure that when you are creating something viable, when you're creating these value points or benefits to users, that you are doing it in the most differentiated way possible. So let's say, for example, that you're creating a new social media platform, but you differentiate yourself by, say, adding in AR filters when people are taking videos. The minimum viable product for you would actually not be to just create a platform where people can share videos, because that exists already. So it's not viable in the sense that you're competing with much bigger players already. So the idea of you becoming a viable business off of just that is not realistic. So you need to create value points that make you different from anyone else in your competition or space. What I like to think about for my MVP as well is I want to think about testing some assumptions that you have either about your customer, how you think your product is going to work and how they'll use it, things of that nature. So for example, if you have some kind of app and you're wondering whether or not to put a whole social component into the app, perhaps the best way to do it is to introduce one small way that you could envision all the social interactions to work, and just test to see like how many of your consumers are using this feature and how often are they using it, and are they saying good things about it when you interview them. Or similarly, what's the engagement of this compared to the rest of the app, the rest of the value points and features that you are offering. And that gives you a good sense of whether to continue to pursue that avenue or whether to just focus on the other areas of value that you are creating. So that's something else that I like to think about when I am doing an MVP of a product. So those are my thoughts. If you have any other questions about MVPs or anything to do with entrepreneurship, please comment down below. Also like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.